Hey guys, MC Mura here, and today we're gonna talk about the basics of Crimson Viper in Street Fighter 6. She came out yesterday. I have already made a combo video on the character, talked about some of her combos, talked about some of the execution tips as well. And everyone is talking about the execution with Viper because she's complex, right? You got the feints like this. This is like a super jump cancel into feint. There is obviously like canceling non-cancelable moves so that you can get the specials, super jump cancels. She's complex, right? And everyone's talking about execution. But execution does not matter if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. What is the game plan? My challenge when it comes to picking up a new character like Viper is what am I supposed to do in the match? What I'm gonna do in the neutral? Sure, I can sit around in training mode for hours trying to land this, like getting the heavy kick into the grounded OD burn kick. And this is a tricky combo, by the way, but what good is that if I don't know how to operate the character in the neutral? What is the game plan? What are some of the good options? And this is what I'm going to talk about today, right? At least to the best of my abilities and what I found with this character from the labbing, from trying her out in matches and all of the good stuff, watching some footage and just extensive gameplay. So first, let's define the ranges. Up close, we're talking range 1, a little bit further than that, the jump distance, this is range 2, and full screen is range 3. You never want to be full screen with C.Viper because you don't have any threats, right? Seismos doesn't reach full screens, you only reach about 70% of the screen. Even your super jump, you're not going to be able to tag the opponent. If you do like the heavy kick, burn kick, it doesn't reach. If you do the insta air version even, none of that stuff reaches, right? So you don't really want to stay at the full screen distance. With Viper, you start becoming effective from about here, from about like the jump distance. If you can tag them with like a jumping medium kick, this is the effective range because this is where seismos start being effective. Now, seismos and how you wanna approach them, how aggressive you are with them is gonna be a big part of playing Viper. Because there's a lot to seismos when you really think about it. If you check it out, seismos are 24 frames startup and they are 57 frames total. That is a ton. You can't treat it as a regular fireball. I mean, fireballs have much better frame data, much better startup and total frames, and they are still risky, jumpable and all of that. So seismos is about like 10 frame worse in terms of startup, and it's also like equally bad in terms of recovery, so it's risky. They also don't deal that much ship damage, right? So while like a seismo deals about like, it is about 10% of a drive gauge. See this? Like for how risky it is, it's not actually doing that much to reuse drive gauge. So the controller just disconnected. Well, so this actually doesn't do that much damage to the opponent drive either. I think of seismo as a tool to keep the opponent guessing, and I pretty much only use seismo from this jump distance, or like this 75 or like 60 to 80% of the screen away. Seismos, if you use them, they are -10 on block, by the way, so it does carry some risk, right? And like I said, the startup from this range is far too slow for it to be useful. You do actually have much better options. But from this distance, seismos are actually really good. I think of it as a Vega slide. It is something that I will do to keep them in check. The trump card with the seismos is the fact that you do have the ability to cancel the seismo with a feint. And I will say you want to keep it about 75% feints and 25% real seismos, right? Because the feint is much stronger than the actual seismos. If you're constantly feinting, the opponent will just stay in place or they will be looking for it. That lets you get in with a burn kick, that lets you in through an eventual one into the actual super jump, and now you are actually getting in, right? So I will say keep it about 75% fakes, 25% real. Think of it as a Vega or a Bison slide, something to pin the opponent down. And if there's a character like Ryu that might throw fireballs, I don't want him to be super comfortable in throwing fireballs either, so I will do it eventually. And now the strong thing about the seismos is that if I happen to actually commit to like the jumping follow-ups, the drive gauge situation is really good. right? So here I did seismos into burn kick, the heavy kick burn kick, right? So I used up a bar, and that gave me about 20% or so of a drive take back, but Ryu also lost about 70% of a drive gauge. So even though I went in with an aggressive play, we're about even on drive. Yes, I'm -2 on block, but that's not too bad, because if I happen to get the hit, this is a knockdown. That's actually like really good. You get real okay here. So that is great. But don't spam it. Don't keep going for it, because if you're doing for that a lot, if you're super obvious about it, they're gonna jump in on you. The seismos gonna whiff. You're not gonna have the whiff cancel. So it's gonna be an issue, right? And also, if you're whiffing it a lot, that lets the opponent jump in, where you can then anti-air them with the heavy knuckle, which can be like meter burn to give you Oki. So that's really good. I say this is probably like the strongest option for Viper from this range. But Viper have also many other tools. If I'm keeping them constantly thinking a lot about this enables me to go for the heavy kick burn kick into the meter burn follow-up, so that I'm getting plus frames. Right now I'm getting +2, I'm in their face. If they're constantly thinking about seismo, this actually gives me the OD burn kick. And OD burn kick is super effective because this puts you at plus frames. Unlike the regular versions that are negative, this is actually plus. So I can keep him checking with that, and then for the one time actually go for that. I am plus, I'm in his face, and now I get a mix. This is pretty much her sort of equivalent. This is C.Viper a neutral skip. Right, you get in, you're +4, so you have a ton of time to go for frame traps. You can do whatever you want. It's actually very, very powerful, right? So feinting a lot or going for it occasionally will keep them honest, will keep them in check. But in my opinion, the strongest range for Viper is about here, because from this range, Viper have some ridiculous options. I would say there are two moves in particular, right? Standing medium kick and standing heavy punch. Now, Viper walk speed is about the same as Manon, right? She has the same forward and back walk speed. So playing that mid-range might be a little bit tough, but I still think the speed totally is fine given her other movement option. Her heavy punch, this move, this is a workhorse of a normal. It have mad range and it deals surprisingly good amount of damage to their drive. This is above, like it's above 50%. This is about like 60% or so of a drive meter. But Mura, why is this move so good? The chop. So special about this move is that, yes, it's not special move cancelable, but it's super jump cancel, and you can then cancel into the heavy knuckle, into feint, and bam, it becomes 0 frame. This is very, very good. This is honestly very, very good, because you can just alternate between doing it and not canceling, or doing it and going for the feint. And at 0, I mean, you can approach them with a grab, you can go for a jab and try to frame trap them, which is great, right? But what makes this very good is that if you happen to do this and you got the hit, it is +6, which means you combo into crouching medium punch. Right? And now from this very safe approach option, far range heavy punch, I was able to combo and get a knockdown. And yes, this use meter obviously, because this feint will use meter. The thing about Viper is that if I change my hand, if I change how I'm holding the controller, the feints immediately go out of the window, right? But this is great because you get a combo and you get a knockdown. And obviously you can go for the heavy knuckle if you want, but in my opinion, the best ender here is to simply go for the focus attack. Right? Because this gives you dash up, you're now +3, and you can immediately start throwing them. And you don't actually use that much drive gauge for this sequence. Like by the time I'm done with it, see this, I'm gonna be +3. I'm in throw range, and I almost got like the drive meter back. So like I could immediately go for a grab. I can immediately like frame trap, go for pressure. Right, that is actually really good. But that's the throw. Now I have officially fully recovered my meter. That is really good, but it doesn't stop there. Actually, you can cancel it into super jump, aerial burn kicks as well, right? So you can go for the heavy, and that's cross up, that's -2. So that actually is pretty hard to deal with. You can go for the light, and the light will stay in the front, and that is 0 frames. So that's also like really, really good. That's actually just kind of insane. And even if the opponent happened to try to take back his turn, like let's say that Ryu here is gonna try to hit us with the heavy punch, you can also super jump cancel it into the focus. And that will give you a punish counter like that. It's gonna give you a crumble. Right? And then like you can convert. Out of that, I think you can do like a medium punch into the seismos. Right? So check out how much damage I did. If you're alternating between not doing any other cancels, canceling into the burn kick, canceling into the feint, and if you keep mixing it up with how much range it got, that is crazy good, right? And that's crazy good. And you know what's crazy good about it? If you happen to get a punish counter, you get a regular combo to the crouching medium punch, so you are getting conversions anyway, right? And obviously you can then drive rush and get more. If you happen to just throw it out there and you didn't have the intent of canceling into anything and you just did it and you got the +5. +5 mean you get to combo a standing light kick, which actually does have surprisingly good range for Viper. So that also will lead to like very good situations as well. This move is honestly fantastic, and also because of its range and its momentum, it's fantastic in drive rush. And in drive rush, the same rules still apply. So if I drive rush heavy punch and then cancel into feint, I'm +4. See, I'm now +4 where I'm still in throw range. So you can even use it from drive rush if you're from this range, and it does have decent amount of momentum as well. So this move is great. You really want to be spamming heavy punch with Viper because it could be very, very rewarding. Another move that will complement that standing heavy punch range is the standing medium kick. Standing medium kick is 8 frames, but it got really good range. But just like the heavy punch, this one also got the super jump cancel. And this is fantastic. The move got great range, right? And you're going to be able to convert. Obviously, can be super jump cancelled, cannot be special cancelled, but this cancelled into the medium knuckle. This is a stupidly good string. If the opponent is blocking, first of all, check out the range on it, right? The range on it is great, but you can cancel it into the medium knuckle, right? And that will be safe on blocks. The medium knuckle actually is surprisingly safe. If the opponent happens to block it, like it can be up to 0 on block. But if I do this sequence, check this out. Right? So I am at this range, I'm only -1. I lost about 80% of a drive gauge, but so did Ryu, right? If this sequence happened to hit, I mean, you can get a knockdown, and now I got Oki, right? Obviously spent bar, but I got Oki from the medium kick. If Ryu happened to try to interrupt and say match a jab, I get the counter hit, I'm +4. And guess what? Her jab is 4-framer. So this actually gives you a knockdown, right? And if the opponent, say, happen to try to drive impact, you actually do get to block, so you get to try to impact them back. Tell me this is not freaking sick. And one thing I forgot to say about the standing medium kick and standing heavy punch, the two control normals for Viper, is that even if they're not cancelable, right? So the opponent may try to drive impact, and you may think they are susceptible to drive impact. But remember, they are super jump cancelable and cancelable into focus. So if Ryu is going for a lot of that, I can combo into the focus force, and now I got to punish him. Obviously, the focus doesn't happen frame 1, so there is still some risk, but you are able to still defend yourself, right? So even though they are options, they are not as committal as you may initially think, right? Sure, that does require resources, but that is super good. And like I showed you, like even if you're doing it, even if they're blocking, the meter economy isn't that bad for you. Now, this is still st.HP 6, we're still gonna need to drive rush. So what should you be doing with Viper when it comes to drive rushes? Obviously her crouching medium punch is really good. And this is your cancelable normal. So I will say if you're up close, crouching medium punch is great, and it's a true block string into standing medium punch, which is excellent, right? Because if the opponent tries to break a throw here, this will give you the option to shimmy, right? So that's great. Right? You got a heavy starter, you can do whatever you want at that point. Obviously, you can go for a heavy kick starter as well, and then get the jump cancel, bam, 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 right? So that gives you options. Obviously, be careful. You don't want to overspend with Viper because you want to maintain your drive meter as much as possible. You don't want to be in burnout, right? So that's something to be careful. This is a fantastic thing. And obviously, you can go for the grab. You can still go for the frame trap because at +5, this will frame trap as well, the standing medium punch. Right? And then you can get a knockdown. In situations like that, if you don't want to spend a lot of drive, don't forget you have this focus, which dash up your +3, so that set up like a really good situation as well. If they are constantly mashing, another really good thing that you can do is going for a drive rush forward heavy kick, like going for the forward heavy kick out of the drive rush, because this will frame trap the jab. You're gonna be +10, which means that you are getting the heavy punch into seismo, and then go for the level 1 install. And level 1 install makes all of this free. I know that you want to do the seismo into seismo into seismo into seismo, and people are like really excited about this, but for me, this is like the really exciting stuff, like getting the standing medium kick into the medium thunder knuckle. This is really, really, really good, right? If you're up close and you want to press the opponent, standing medium punch is your plus on block move. This is only +1, so you can frame trap with it into the crouching jab, and obviously then get this ender. Or if you want to spend on an OD, or if you want to spend an OD uppercut, do so. I mean, however you see fit, but this is pretty much like your basic frame trap, and obviously, like, she got lights. Now, one good thing I noticed about Viper as well is that her lights have much less pushback than others. So, like, even on standing opponent, she can get 4 lights. So like this sort of ender is not bad, and obviously you can still go for the heavy knuckle ender. That's probably the best one because it gives you like dash up. Okay, you're still +4, you'll still end their face. Another really good thing about Viper is, like, we're talking about how you're gonna throw the OD burn kicks in the neutral because that's plus. You wanna throw in the insta air ones as well. You wanna keep them honest with the seismos, but you're gonna drive rush, and they will check your drive rush because Viper doesn't really have a particularly fast drive rush as well. So one thing you can do is drive rush seismo, and that will stop your momentum, and then like you can get in. Obviously carry some risk, but it's an option, and from the ranges you're gonna be doing it from where you want them to check, this is not that bad. I think this is one of the strategies. You actually do have like a really good nasty like drive rush bait check or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, these are my findings so far with Viper. What is your experience with her so far? For me, try to play this range as much as possible. Medium kick, heavy punch, these are your goals, and obviously this can allow you to like whiff punish with a crouching heavy punch. This can allow you to whiff punish with a crouching medium. Crouching medium is here 6 frames, as that is the best anti-drive rush button that she got. She's a very fun character, unorthodox but really fun.